All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This week we're taking a look back at week 12 of our marathon buildup. This week was a good week. I felt really good about training this week. I think this was really kind of the week that I needed. And again, like we kind of mentioned last week with the, leading into it, may or may not look like a traditional marathon week buildup, but it was what my body needed. And that's kind of a key thing that I think a lot of people may or may not like realize is yes, you can go online, you can, buy a generic, here's a 16-week build up for this race, 16-week build up for this race, 5 weeks to your fastest 5K. And those are all pretty generic. Being able to look back and know what your body handles well, what it doesn't handle well, and being able to manipulate that and intertwine that into your training, I think it's super, super pertinent. That was one of the things as a coach. The first year that I would coach somebody, a lot of it was just kind of figuring out the athlete. My background, I know exactly what is needed for a given event, but if I don't understand the athlete, I can't give them really the best stuff for them, and so for me, I've been running for, almost over 2 decades at this point, I think. Yeah, right around 2 decades. So I have a pretty good idea of my body, and I have a pretty good idea of what I need in my training and what works and what doesn't. And so a couple weeks ago, it was just a lot of volume, and which is kind of what I need for the marathon, right? That high volume, just getting that in, getting that endurance, getting, all those adaptations through that way. That's what I need for the marathon. But my body doesn't react well to too much of that. I do need it a certain amount. But my body last week was kind of telling me like, hey, we react well to some higher intensity stuff. We react well to doing some quicker stuff. So that's why I kind of decided like, hey, we're going to go into this recovery week, kind of a down week. But instead of going like super easy and conservative, I was like, hey, this is a great opportunity for me. And as I'm dropping that volume down, I can ramp the intensity up just a little bit. I'm not doing super, super high intensity like sprints and stuff like that, but I am doing, kind of some other stuff that's going to be faster than what I've been doing for this build-up so far. Okay. So let's kind of take a look at this. Let's look at what the week that was. So Monday started off, it was just going to be a progression run. And going into it, I was like, man, I'm kind of sleepy. I'm a little bit tired. Again, the 2 weeks before that were higher volume. And so I was just a little bit sleepy going into this. Like, that's the reason we need these recovery weeks. And so I kind of did the thing where I knew that my brain just wasn't there. I wasn't engaged in the workout as much as I maybe wanted it to. So I did kind of actually a thing that I think is great for marathon prep and something that I think sometimes our own heads get in our own way. And so what I did is I did this technique where I just kind of shut my brain off. I just kind of was like, okay, I've done this workout enough times. My body knows what this workout is, and I just let my body take over. And so I just kind of shut the brain off. I wasn't super concerned of like, okay, I need to hit this pace, I need to hit that pace. It was just like, okay, I'm just going to run, and I'm just going to keep going a little bit harder every little bit and see what happens. And good things happened. Really, really good things happened. I started off at like 7:30, 7:45 pace, and just kind of, as the run went along, kind of slowly picked it up, and last mile and a half dropped down to like 5:20 pace, which felt really, really good. And then on top of that, I was rolling by the high school that I teach at, and I saw the track was one of the gates was open. I was like, oh man, I haven't had a chance to run on that track yet, and I was planning on doing some strides. So jumped on there, did a couple 200s, and ran them in 33, 34s, somewhere in there, and felt smooth. Like, they weren't all out sprints. They were kind of like mile-ish effort. And so that gave me a lot of confidence, feeling really, really good about where I was at with that part of my training. So I was like, okay, I haven't lost that fast twitch. I haven't lost that high end speed from doing a lot of the volume and stuff that I've been doing. I can still kind of kick down in some of those gears. So I was like, okay, this is good, feeling great. Finished the day Tuesday. I did just like an easy run. Wednesday was the other workout. And so for this workout, I decided, okay, I'm going to do a fartlek. A lot of the fartleks I've been doing have been a little bit longer, a little bit slower stuff. This week I was like, okay, I'm going to go a little bit quicker. Okay, so I did 3 sets of 3 minutes on, 1 minute easy, 2 minutes on, minute easy, 1 minute on, 2 minutes easy. Okay, so went into this workout and it was just like, okay, I haven't really hit a lot of these paces, so the idea was to go like 5K effort, 3K effort, mile effort, right? And going through it, again, I haven't hit these paces in a while, and so kind of going through it, I was like, man, I'm digging a little bit to hit some of these paces that I want to be hitting. But at the end of the day, I was like, okay, that felt good to get the legs turning over. After a lot of base mileage, sometimes it's nice to just get the legs turning over again. Again, they don't have to be like super big sprints. They don't need to be huge efforts, but just getting those legs turning over a little bit more just kind of reinvigorates where I'm at in my training. Does this work for everybody? No. But I do know it works for me, and I do know it works for a lot of other people that I've worked with. So those were the 2 big workouts. Took that Thursday off, did an easy run Friday, and then Saturday was the long run. My wife and I went out. We did 20 miles on the roads, just nice and easy, and got done. And I think this whole week gave me some pretty good confidence going into the marathon. So the other thing I wanted to kind of mention about this week was, for the mileage, like the whole idea this week was to drop the volume down a little bit, increase the intensity a little bit. So one thing that kind of like struck me as a little bit when I was figuring out the week was, I was like, okay, we got a 20 miler on Saturday. We got this workout Monday, this workout Wednesday, and then I've got this much mileage to work with the rest of the week. And I was like, even by only doing like 6 miles those other days, I was still hitting like 60 miles. That's one of the reasons I took that Thursday off, was like, okay, I just need a day off and we'll kind of drop the mileage a little bit. And so even when I was trying to hit 50, I was still like mid to high 50s. And a lot of those days I was going out there for like 5 or 6 miles, I was just like, I could totally do more. I shouldn't do more. I'm not going to do more, but I can totally do more. And that's great. That's a great place I wanted to be going into this rest week, right? So that's kind of really the week as a whole. I really thought it was a good week overall. So that's going to lead us into the last little bits we do here. So the good. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I got some higher intensity stuff in, got the legs moving again at a higher intensity, was able to kind of retouch on some systems that I haven't touched on in a while, and I feel like that really kind of reinvigorated myself going into these last few weeks of training. Because, man, I finished this week, and I looked at the books, and I was like, man, this marathon is getting close. The day after our long run, so that Sunday, I looked at my wife, and I was like, do you know how long we have until the marathon? She's like, no, how long? It's like 4 weeks. I was like, whew, it's getting close. So we're gonna have one more big week next week, and then we're gonna kind of start ramping ourselves down a little bit at that point. So yeah, that was good. I really think that we kind of hit on all the things that we really wanted to hit on. The bad. Really can't think of a whole lot that went bad this week. Yeah, I mean, I think it. I mean, when you have a rest week and you can hit things and you're consistent on it, yeah, things went well. I mean, the one bad thing is I realized, like, oh man, school's starting up here in a few weeks and I got to start preparing. that's like the only thing that. Oh no, I'll just say one thing that I was like that didn't quite go well. Sleep was a little bit off. Um, I was having a hard time going to sleep a few times this week, and that might just be where training is at. Sometimes when you get super high in training, it's kind of oxymoron, I know, but sometimes you know sleep kind of gets thrown off a little bit. So hopefully, with a little bit of that rest and recovery that happened this week, especially later in the week, hopefully that'll kind of get going back on. But earlier in the week, sleep was a little bit off. And then the goal for next week, next week's our last big week of training. Okay, so that last big week of training next week, that's the big goal, is just to get consistency in, get that volume in. We're gonna have one big workout and then another trail run. So the big goal is just to take care of myself, make sure that I'm doing everything I need to do to get all that volume in. Because we're gonna be looking at another 70, maybe 75 miles this next week. We'll see what happens. So yeah, just kind of taking care of business and keeping that consistency up, so that I don't have like a day where I'm like, man, I really have to take today off, because when you're trying to hit that sort of volume, taking a day off makes the rest of the days a lot harder. Okay, so all right, that's all I got for this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Happy running. Bye.